Peace, everyone. This is Moorish American Red Table, where we discuss our everyday lives living as Moorish Americans in America. I am your host today. I'm Crystal. Many people may know me as Sister K Glover Ill, Arnil Bay's wife, Miss Neil Bay, etc. Before this platform, many of you will begin to know me as Crystal. Within Moorish Temple of America, I hold a few official positions. One being a Grand Sheikess of a temple within the Moorish Temple of America. I am also known amongst those who I truly love and who loves me as a sister, a daughter, an aunt, a niece, a cousin, a friend, a best friend, and the list goes on and on and on. What is Moorish Temple of America? Many may say it's a cult. Many may say, oh, it's, the temple. Many may say it's a gang. Many may say it's a group. Many may say it's a community. Many may even say it's a society. But what is Moorish Temple of America? Moorish Temple of America simply is a religious body politic in corporate. And in 1928, it became so via the Hers Revised Statutes, Chapter 32, Section 36. What do we do in Moorish Temple of America? Well, of course, many of you who are members already know that our purpose and our mission is to uplift fallen humanity. And some of the ways that we uplift fallen humanity is by studying ourselves, which is our behaviors, our interactions with situations, with individuals, with societies, etc. Some of us, even within Moorish Temple of America, go so far as to distance ourselves within the society of Americans. Many of us do it because of the lack of understanding that we are true American citizens. Now, for many of us, being the hue that we are, and hue by meaning the skin tone, the hue that we are, it's really difficult, especially in today's climate with racial injustice, with the long history of being enslaved, with the unfair treatment as members of the society in America. However, we'll be getting into that, but more so we'll be getting into our lifestyle, how we live, what is it that we eat, why do we think that we are who we say we are, what are some of our customs, what are some of the things that we don't do, what are some of the things that we do. And today's topic will be discussing more so on mental illness and how it is running rapid within our community. So many of us within Moorish Temple of America are members who attend meetings. Sometimes we attend meetings all the time. We partake in uplifting acts outside of our prescribed meetings. Prescribed meetings is our Holy Night meetings on Fridays. Prescribed meetings is our Sunday school meetings on Sundays. Prescribed meetings are Quran class or our Holy Quran class. Normally, Holy Quran class is going to be on a Tuesday or Wednesday, depending upon which temple you attend. However, these are the main subscribed meetings that most members will attend. Some of us attend, like I said, regularly. Some of us may come just when we have celebrations. Celebrations such as Prophet Noble Drew Ali's birthright celebration that is coming upon us in January. Some of the other celebrations that many of us attend is our convention, which is October 15th through the 20th every year annually. Some of us even celebrate our conventions September 15th through the 20th. But again, for the majority of us, we attend our prescribed meetings, and for some of us, we only attend celebrations. Now, again, most of us will only know each other because a lot of us, we don't live in the same cities. Many of us live states apart, and the most that we get to communicate with one another is through social media platforms. So social media platforms that we utilize, such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. We use LinkedIn, etc. All of these social media platforms allows us to connect worldwide. I remember when my Facebook friend list only had about 2 bays on it. This was right before social media had opened up to, Facebook had opened up to the public. This was back when the only way that you could get a Facebook account was if you were in school. And being that I was in school at the time, I was able to open up a Facebook account. And like I said, there were only about 2 or 3 bays who were on my friends list. And these individuals actually lived in Baltimore, where I was living at the time. So even then, I wasn't a member of Moorish Temple of America. However, I had been studying about Moors and Moorish science, and I was a part of a unauthorized study group. However, it was my introduction into Moorish science, and I'm very appreciative to my upbringing in the Moorish community, because if it had not been for those individuals, then I actually would have never joined Moorish Temple of America, and I would have never had the opportunity to meet my husband today. I would have never been able to become his wife, and he would have never been able to become my husband. So I'm very, very grateful and thankful for that unauthorized study group. I know a lot of times, especially when I first became an official within the temple, I used to put a lot of emphasis on unauthorized temples, unauthorized study groups. However, through the years, through some time, I've actually had to sit back and realize that if it wasn't for the unauthorized study group, if it wasn't for the we wasn't a temple, but if it wasn't for that unauthorized study group, I would have never been able to come into the real. I would have never been introduced, like I said, to my husband. So again, I am grateful for that platform at that time. So again, going back to Facebook, back then it was 2000, I want to say 2007, 2008, around 2008, 2009 is when I started to be a part of the study group. I actually came through by listening to brothers like Brother Panic, and it was really, at first it was really hard for me to even listen. Brother Bobby Hemmett, it was really hard for me to listen to them because I was coming out of the church. I was coming out of the church and got at Christ, and y'all know, if y'all was raised in the church, we was just taught that everything was a demon. Everybody was going to hell. Anything that you did, you can look at somebody wrong, you're going straight to hell, and the devil made you do it, right? So coming from that, I would love to listen to Brother Bobby Hemmett, Brother Panic, but I would just be so afraid listening to them. And then one day I heard Brother Bobby Hemmett say in a lecture that he was doing, he said, whenever you get a book and you're not really interested in the book at that moment, and I'm paraphrasing, he said, don't throw away the book. He said, just put the book on the shelf. And when you need it, you can come back to it later. And so that's exactly what I did with him and Brother Panic. I put them on the shelf and I came back to them later. I had found other sources of information that was able to continue to take me on my journey, such as Pastor Ray Hagan. And I really enjoyed Pastor Ray Hagan. Again, remember, I'm coming from out of a church background. So Pastor Ray Hagan was literally waking me up. And then I would listen to, at that time, I was listening to Pastor Ray Hagan. I was listening to Brother Reverend Phil Valentine. He was awesome. And then one day, I stumbled upon a video, and it was a brother who had long, long locks, and he had feathers on his locks, and he was in the park, and he was talking about the treacherous three. So what is this? This is interesting. So I clicked on the video. This time I was watching YouTube. So I clicked on the video, and it was a brother by the name of Asir the Duke of Tears. And he was able, in that video, he was able to just break down history. And at this time, I'm a law student. So hearing about Lincoln and Pascal Beverly Randall, and I'm just hearing this, and I'm just like, wow. It put so much in perspective for me. because again, I'm just seeking. And what I was really honestly truly seeking was to learn about who I was. I was searching. I wanted to know, who am I? What is my purpose in life? What am I supposed to be doing? I always knew, as being a Sagittarius, as my sun sign, that I'm supposed to be like a one to always want to seek justice, not just for myself, but for everyone. My motto growing up was, that's not fair. I even remember when my oldest brother and my husband met for the first time. And my oldest brother, because I hadn't seen him in a while, and he said to me, he said, Crystal, do you still want to save the world? And my husband just bust out laughing, and he was like, wow, so you really have been doing this all your life? And I was like, yeah, of course. I've always wanted to save the world. So being in the temple, it allows me to focus on my passion of saving the world. Not literally, but more in a figurative manner, where I can save the world by uplifting fallen humanity. So being able to learn under the tutelage of Brother Asir the Duke of Tears, I learned a lot. I learned much. And he's always been very thorough. He's always been one to want to see everyone, grow within their understanding of what they have learned. So I give honors definitely to Brother Asir the Duke of Tears, his wife Selena Cordoba Il. Those two really are the reason why I am married to my husband. So moving along, as I begin to grow within Moorish Temple of America, at first coming into it, it was just like, man, this is a lot of information to absorb. I gotta learn all these divine instructions, right? I gotta learn all these I gotta learn the divine constitution and bylaws. I have to learn additional laws. It's just so much that I have to learn. And coming into it at first, I was just like, this is a lot. But I said to myself, I'm going to learn it all, right? Because this is me challenging myself. I'm going to learn it all, but I'm going to take it one step at a time, right? Because in everything, you don't want to overwhelm yourself in whatever it is that you're doing in life. So within learning, and I'm still learning, I found out that I can never learn it all. None of us can ever learn it all. Even now, sometimes I might be teaching a Sunday school lesson, or I might be reading from the Quran or the questionnaire for Moorish Americans. So I might be reading something, even the warnings of the Prophet, something from out of the Moorish Guide, and I could have read it 100 times before, and then I realized at that moment while reading it, I never realized this. I never saw this before. I never had this understanding about this before. Because again, you could never learn it all. So with that, coming into the temple and learning and understanding, I first came in with just so much energy and so much love, so much that I wanted to give. But throughout the years of dealing with our people, my people, it has got to a point where if we are all being honest, if you've been in this movement for some time, you begin to want to back up. You begin to want to back away. You begin to not want to even do it any longer because you don't have the same vigor. You don't have the same energy. And for us to, even try to say, well, I want to be in a movement. I want to be a leader for, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years in the movement. And I want to do this. That's a form of mental illness. That's anything in your life. I remember when I was a teenager and Lauryn Hill said something that I have always carried with me. And she has said that anything that is not growing is dead. Anything that is not growing is dead. And if we be honest with ourselves, many of us are suffering from mental illnesses as leaders, as teachers, as members, as children, as adults, as loved ones, as sisters, as brothers within Moorish Temple of America. With all the lessons, with all the divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, with all the warnings, with all the writings, additional laws, etc. from the Prophet, we still are suffering from mental illness. And you can see it on social media. You see it with how we communicate with each other, going back and forth. I mean, someone can say something in a negative connotation, and you'll see just a whole line of comment after comment after comment. But if you put Moorish American prayer, you might get 2 likes, 1 heart. Because of the mental illness. And it's not being talked about. It's not being discussed. Because everyone wants to walk around and act like they got it. Everyone wants to say, oh, it's okay, we're just going to put our hand in Allah's hand and victory is sure. Of course. Definitely. But us putting our hand in Allah's hand has everything to do with being truthful to ourselves. Us being able to interact with each other throughout social media has become so volatile, where you've had members talk about what we're going to physically do to each other in a harmful way. That's not normal. Again, mental illness disorders that's not being properly diagnosed or treated. You can't drink the teas and the oils of the Moorish Manufacturing Co. and expect it to go away. You can't meditate it away. You can't pray it away. You can't think it away because thought be the cause of it all. No, you have to actually deal with it. And we have not dealt with it. I remember a few conventions ago, I talked about how a lot of our brothers are suffering because many of our brothers within this movement found the message of Prophet Noble Drew Ali and the message of being yourselves in penitentiaries So within the institutions, many of the brothers have come out and they come home, and automatically, they're just given these positions. However, there has been no re-entry programs. No re-entry programs. However, because the brother can recite all the lessons fluently. Oh, that's a mastermind right there. Oh, that brother know his lessons, don't he? Islam. However, there has been no re-entry program instituted to make sure that that brother is mentally sane to be a leader over a group of Moors. Same thing with the sisters. You got a lot of sisters who are single mothers within the movement. So they've been misused and abused by men in their past, and they come in this movement and automatically, oh, that sister gonna be a sheikess. Oh, that sister gonna be this. Oh, that sister gonna be great. Oh, she know her lesson. It's not a lot of sisters that know their lessons like you, sister. Praise Allah. However, that sister is suffering mentally because of the years of abuse that she has endured before joining Moorish Temple of America. And again, we have not placed mental illness at the forefront of our conditions being better. Oh, we talk about finance. Oh, the prophet need finance, and he need finance badly. Never before had he needed finance so badly as he does at this moment, so he can shove aside the discord that's facing the nation. Oh, we love to quote that. However, you have teachers, grand sheiks, etc., who have mistreated, who have abused. I've seen those who call themselves grand sheiks. I've seen them disrespect women on Facebook, calling them hoes and all types of degrading titles. But again, it's okay. Oh, because they didn't do it to me, it's okay. Oh, that's just such and such. That's how they talk. That's just what they do. So it's all right. No, it's not all right. It's not okay. There is no way that any of us could have these lessons, and we're saying these are the divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, right? There's no way possible that we can have these and we disrespect each other constantly. Sisters can't even go to temples because brothers are always trying to holler at them, and all they trying to do is just learn more about being themselves. And you have those who are just constantly in usury. So they use each other. They use the temple. If I had $1 for every time that someone has used me and my family in the temple, I would be about a half a millionaire by now. About half a millionaire right now, respectively. This silence on mental illness disorders and how it is going undiagnosed and untreated, how it's not being talked about, how we don't have any focus groups, we don't have any support groups, we ain't got no prayer circles, no meditation circle, like nothing. You have women who's living pillar to post with children. And the first thing we say, oh, that's a good sister. Oh, she love the prophet. Oh yeah, she need to be a teacher over a temple. How can you be a teacher over a people and you don't have your living situation in the best of manners? Same thing with the brothers. Most brothers, all they do is just go and live with a sister. So one minute you'll see the brother with this sister, and then the next minute you'll see him with that sister, and then the sisters all fighting each other in the temple. Oh, that brother was with me. Oh no, now he with me. Oh now he with me. Oh now he with me. Mental illness disorders. But it's okay for him to be the grand sheik. It's okay for him to lead a group of Moors. The mental illness disorders is running so rampant within the temple that many of us even actually think that we're progressing and that it's progressive. Because someone has a t-shirt line. Someone selling fezzes. Oh, they got these type of buttons over here. Oh yeah, you can get the medallions over there. Oh yeah, you can get the teas, oils, and compounds over there. Oh, it's slime. Those some industrious Moors. Mental illness. Why is it mental illness? Because we actually equate having the necessities that we're supposed to have of being industrious with being progressive. How is it that nations throughout the world, right? How is it that nations throughout the world actually equate their progression with their gross domestic products, their import, their export, their international or their national scientific inventions, technology that they create and help to further throughout the world? How is it that majority of the world, when it comes to nationally, look at how their nation is progressing according to those standards? But according to us, right, progression is so-and-so got a t-shirt line. Or if you're selling the medallions, you can go get a fez from over there. Or you know, this person, that person, that group over there, they went to the state house. Oh, they was able to get some legislation passed. Did you see that House resolution? Those some progressive Moors. Woo, they industrious. Mental illness. Mental illness. Disorders. All those Moors over there, they got a beautiful building. It's clean over there. It's nice and Islam. And you know the prophet over there. They got some incense and body oils. You can get your turbans. Those Moors over there, they selling shoes. Moors got their own shoes. And we actually equate this with progression as a nation. And every other nation looks at their import and their export. They look at their national treasury. They look at what they owe, what's owed to them. They look at the technological advancements. They even look at their athletes. It's a sister down in Georgia, I believe, a young sister who is a international boxer. She's a Moorish American. And Moors won't even get behind her to back her. Here it is. You have a Moorish American who is an international athlete on her way to the Olympics in a few years. And Moors aren't even backing her. But if we say, oh, sisters, we want everybody to come out to this women's retreat, they gonna do that. Oh, you know, such and such just came out a new book. They're gonna go and purchase that. You know, oh, such and such just got a non-for-profit organization, and the organization doing so well, and it's uplifting fallen humanity. And, oh, Islam, praise Allah. But when it actually comes to what a nation truly looks at as far as its national progression, we have none of that. We have not implemented that. The only thing that we implement is segregation and constant talks about unity. I said a while back, I don't want to go to another unity summit, another unity tea, another unity concert, another unity welfare program. I don't care what it is. Do not count me in to another unity anything. I don't want to be a part of it. If we're not talking about unifying for our national progression in technology and our import and export, and how we're gonna feed, clothe, and shelter ourselves, then count me out of it. I don't want to be a part of it. I'm not going to be a part of it. I don't care about what you're doing in your local temple. That does not interest me. What gives me interest, or what I am interested in and I want to be a part of, is the growth of individuals that's a part of the individuum. Again, what interests me and what I am interested in is the growth of individuals and the growth of the individuum, which is Moorish Temple of America. I think that my family has supported pretty much every endeavor, almost every endeavor that Moors have done, that Moors have sent out, and pretty much anything that you can think of, we've tried to be a part of. We tried to be an assistance. We tried to just show our gratitude, but it's time to, take it to the next level. And it's not going to get to the next level until we begin to actually address the mental illness disorders that is plaguing us all. Myself included. I started to actually physically break out with eczema. I have eczema on my hands and my arms now, and I've never even had eczema all of my life. I didn't start having eczema until I got in my 30s, being official in Moorish Temple of America, because you actually begin to take on so much of everyone else's mental illnesses while you're trying to deal with yours at the same time. So, with the mental illness, when we actually become honest about what's really going on, you're not going to see any progression until we begin to address that. And to me, I really don't care, and I'm really not bothered about what other individuals would like to critique. I don't really, at this moment in my life, I'm not really more fixated on what it is of what someone thinks, and we got our lessons. We don't have no mental illnesses. We don't have to worry about that. We the thoughts of Allah manifested in human flesh. And yeah, And we've also manifested mental illness disorders. You have so many individuals who have been entrusted with money from members, and they've stolen money from members. You have members who constantly backbite and talk about this one and talk about that one, and oh, I don't like this one. Oh, did you see what this one did on social media? Oh, did you see what that one said? Oh, I don't want to deal with this one, and I don't want to deal with that one, and this and that and that and that and the other. Where I'm in my 30s and I begin to just have to babysit grown adults who are older than me in physical age. This is a babysitting job that I'm not getting paid for. And nobody wants to address the mental illness disorders. Nobody is talking about getting treatment. And I'm not even talking about traditional Western medical treatment, because all of us don't need that. Majority of us, all we need to do is learn to love instead of hate. For the majority of us, all we truly need is to know that we are loved and we are appreciated. And I'm not talking about the fake love, because there's a lot of fake love, and I don't do fake. There's a video going around on YouTube with me saying I don't do fake, and on Facebook, I don't do fake. If I truly respected you as a brother, as a sister, before you had did anything out of law, according to the laws that Prophet Noble Drew Ali had prescribed to all of us, then I still feel the same way. You ain't got to feel the same way. I still look at you as a brother or a sister. I still wish the best for you, because I don't do fake, and I'm not one of those who, oh, well, you know, they ain't talking to me, so I wish death upon them. You know, I wish karma on them. And one of the greatest lessons, one of the greatest life lessons that I was taught by that brother Sid Duke Tears is to treat people kind. Treat people kind. Even when you're being wrong. Even when people are out trying to defame your character. Even when people are out just constantly saying things about you that's not true. Wishing all this ill will on you. ETs. Even when they're going around with that vibration, you stay high. Treat people kind. So that's what I do. I treat people kind. Now, will I allow you to disrespect me in my face? No, not at all. And when you're in my face, I'm going to tell you. Because I'm not doing all that back and forth on social media with anyone. I've gone through that stage. I've worked through that. I said I don't want to be a part of that mental illness anymore. That mental illness disorder of trying to prove someone that I can write prolific sentences to talk about what someone has said or what someone has posted on social media. I'm not going to do that, because 9 times out of 10 I'm going to see you anyway. And when I see you, I'm going to say, what's that what you said? And it's always, oh, Islam, sister, I didn't mean it like that. It. Again, the mental illness. Well, that's what you said. So it is like that. It's like that because you put out that energy for it to be like that. And I don't do fake, so I'm not going to act as if I'm going to be a part of the get along gang. I'm not going to do that. Do I still respect you? Of course, I still respect you. But I'm not going to fake. I'm not going to do the Islams and all that, because there is no peace until you make peace. Islam means peace. And there is none until you actually extend that olive branch to make it peaceful again. So I want to read from an article on mental illness disorders and what happens when it's not treated. What happens when it's not treated? So this is from constellationbehavioralhealth.com. And it's the title of the article is "The Real Cost of Untreated Mental Illness in America." It says the public cost of untreated mental illness includes substance use disorders, overdose, suicide, and economic costs of healthcare and lost productivity. We see a lot of brothers and sisters within the movement, right, who veil the form, because that's what we call it. We call it veil the form. We don't call it die, or even though it says in the Quran that there's a ministry in death, but we still don't call it die. We call it veil the form. A lot of us veil the form prematurely. And the reason why is because of a lot of the stress from the mental illness, either having to deal with it day to day, whether it be you going through it or your brother or your sister going through it, and you're trying to constantly assist and you're trying to get yourself together. And so you just tap out. Many of us are tapping out too early. It further reads, for individuals, these costs are experienced personally as broken relationships, poor performance at school or work, suicidal thoughts. See, all of the back and forth on social media, this one said this about that one, that one said that about that one, this one did that one, that one, that. We're not going to be happy until someone actually commits suicide from this. This is why I'm speaking up and speaking out about it. Because it's coming. Someone is going to commit suicide because everyone can't take being exposed publicly on public platforms. And all you see is the hee-hees and the ha-has, like it's cute. And it's not. Like it's funny, and it's not. Because being a bully is a mental disorder. Substance abuse and poor physical health. Comprehensive ongoing treatment is the answer. But first, individuals must be properly diagnosed with an existing mental illness. So, many of us call our mental illness our lower self, right? Oh, I'm just in my low mode. Or, that's my lower self. Oh, I need to bring my vibrations up. These are all mental illness disorders. And we all must get the appropriate assistance. Each and every one of us. If we don't, you're not going to see any progression. Just going to see the same thing over and over and over again. Constantly talking about, oh, we need this, we need that, oh, we got to get this done, we got to get that done. So, I put together a hotline, which is our toll-free number. We have a hotline for anyone who just needs a listening ear, anyone who needs any local resources that may help them, anyone that just needs to hear I love you. As Grand Sheikess in my temple, every Friday I make it my business to tell all of the members that I love them. And that may be the only time that they heard that all week long. And not just hear, but actually know truthfully and honestly that, man, Grand Sheikess really do love me. Because it's not just about saying it, but it's also about doing it. That may be the only thing that's going to assist that brother or that sister to continue to move on, to continue to be their best selves, to continue to want to live their best lives, to continue to make and want to see their conditions to become better. So for anyone who wants to call our toll-free number, you can reach us at 877-808-2477. You choose any of the extension numbers on there. My extension is 101. My husband's extension is 103. And again, this is Moorish American Red Table, where we discuss our everyday lives. So you're not going to hear much on this platform. You're not going to hear much about, Prophet Noble Ali, what he did for the Moors, and how he established Moorish Temple of America, and who is the supremeness, who the national that, and what temple over here doing this and what temple over there doing that. You're not going to hear any of that over here. You're not going to hear any degrading over here. But we just get down to the very issues that we are facing every day. The issues that we're facing every day. Next week, tune in next week, we are going to be discussing some family matters. some of the family matters. We'll be discussing those. I may have a co-host on next week as well, but we're going to be discussing family matters. So until next time, peace and love, everyone. Islam.